Welcome, energy industry and more, to another exciting episode of Coffee with Jim and James. Today, we're going to get a little techie. And in my world, techie, frame relay, TCP/IP, SOE, wait a minute, SE, something like that. I can't remember. But being, very serious, I am consciously incompetent to some of those things, but I am consciously competent to know that those things affect my world positively every day. And if it wasn't for my tech whisperer, my guru, the one that helps me all the time to do fantastic logos like that and virtual backgrounds, it's my brother, Mr. James Cross. James, how are you this fine and beautiful morning?
I'm good, Jimmy. It's cold here in Texas. I think it was close to freezing when we got up this morning, but really all I do is just mansplain things to Jim when it comes to technology. That's my gift.
And it works.
Being called a whisperer is so much fancier. But Jim, today we talked about the rebrand a few weeks back with Coleman Sterling, our CEO, and we talked about this rebrand being a lot more than just logos and colors.
Right.
And that there really was a commitment behind it. And that commitment is really centered on user experience. And you can take that in numerous different ways. This group, being a little more technology minded, definitely can lean into things like UX. But really what we wanted to talk about today, and why we brought in our two special guests today that we'll introduce in just a second, is really we've restructured and used that same user experience, with our own employees and with some initiatives within our own walls that really is dumping some of the old stodgy behavior, I'd say, in the technology side of things really on its head. And so today we're going to be bringing in number one, Lauren Morton, our wonderful colleague, and also Ryan Wicks. And we'll let them Ryan is blessed. He's the most pumped about this move because he used to have, Jim, you and Ryan had the longest titles in the company here at Energy Worldnet.
We do. Yep.
Yeah, still do. So Ryan was, I know, the most pumped about it. But first I want to bring in Lauren and Ryan. I'll let Jim introduce you and bring you on board, and he can question you. But Lauren, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be part of Coffee with Jim and James. I feel pretty special being able to be on with you guys. So this is pretty awesome.
We'll ask you that same question later and see if you still feel the same way. But Lauren, let's bring you in and talk about this commitment to user experience. So it's not just external facing or that traditional UX that we've come to love, but it's also really a concept that we use to redefine and restructure the product side of our house. So if you don't mind, can you give us a flyover of this restructure that I'm talking about, and honestly how you found yourself right in the middle of it?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So we talk a little bit about the road to product innovation and where we came from being just technology services, and then moving into that product innovation, and then the systems engineering side of things. But really, when we look at innovation, it's really the core of our business. It's the backbone of Energy Worldnet. I mean, really, if you think about it from the very beginning, going all the way back to delivering the first to deliver computer-based training to the industry in form of CDs. Now, how far have we come from CDs? I think we're all thankful for that, not to have to try to track those down. But innovation itself is nothing new to Energy Worldnet. It's who we are. It's been ingrained in us from the very beginning. And, when I started with the company back in January of 2012, it's been a little while now, we were a growing company, and we had a few people and they wore many hats. And I think that is common for a company that is growing and very entrepreneurial in spirit. And so when I came on board, I was actually one of 12 people back in 2012. So I've seen a lot of change, a lot of great growth. Pretty exciting to see that now and where we are. But at the time, it was common for me to move, we're talking about wearing these different hats, to move from talking with clients to writing requirements, putting together mock-ups for these new features. I'd be in leadership meetings. I would act as a project manager. I'd go from that to troubleshooting hardware issues, making roadmap recommendations for our product, and then literally even crawling around on the floor to set up new equipment for employees, which, hey, that was fine. I enjoyed helping people, so no problem.
Lauren, crawling around the floor is user experience to the max.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that is very true. So, many hats were worn at the time. And so, for me personally, I really did not have what Stephen Covey refers to as, in his book, 7 Habits for Highly Effective People, that dedicated quadrant 2 time that we focus on the important and the strategic things. And so the good thing is that we've continued to grow. And as we've done that, we become much more specialized, and we begin to drop some of those hats, and we become much more laser focused on our roles. And so the same is true for me. And, my background being in information systems and systems development, and then being so ingrained in our product, my natural inclination is to move more towards the product innovation, product development activities. And so, like many, I had to take a step back and say, what is it that I'm passionate about? And although I enjoy helping people, crawling on the ground, that is, like you said, user experience for sure, and helping with those sort of broad technology things, my true passion is in the platform and the product and seeing how that helps our clients. Jim, James, I know that you know this, that our clients, they have a lot on their plate, and they're dealing with regulations, they're dealing with safety matters, they're wanting to make sure that their folks are, again, safe, that they're out on the job site, they're trained, they're qualified, and they need the smart tools to support them, not to hinder them, but to support them. And honestly, I get super excited when I see something that we've built truly help somebody and make a difference to them. So I believe that this move reinforces our commitment to the brand, to the user experience that you talked about, to the product, and to going back to our roots of innovation. And most of all, helping our clients in the industry. And so, we've put together some very passionate people that are focused on delivering, I think, what really matters to the industry. So I'm super thrilled and very excited about this new opportunity.
Jim, did you hear what Lauren said? When she came on board, there were 12 people. I had 12 people on a Zoom call yesterday.
I had 12 people in my house this weekend, and that,
I think that's illegal in Florida.
We'll talk about that afterwards, but let's make sure that doesn't air. On a serious note, let me bring Ryan into the mix, and I have to say something to Ryan as well as everybody. The one thing that just enamored me with listening to Lauren was the passion in her voice, and I think that's such a strong trait, and it gives you energy to hear that. So Ryan, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We're going to talk about, product and services and having passionate people in the right seat, doing the right job. And I want to learn about you, as our audience does. What brought you to product innovation? What drives you? Give us a little bit of your history, as well as, what makes you get up in the morning first thing and say, I am ready to tackle this day.
And Ryan, how is it to follow Lauren?
I was about to say, it's awesome. I am extremely fortunate. So
no pressure whatsoever.
No pressure at all.
No pressure.
I would say first and foremost, thank you all for having me, because Lauren's a powerhouse in of herself. So to have me alongside, I'm grateful for that.
Amen.
But two, as far as passion goes, I have been fortunate enough to sort of stumble into my career. I, walked into Mayo Clinic and, as an intern, and wanted to do more and learn more. And I was surrounded by extremely intelligent, extremely passionate people, and it just rubbed off. I learned from the best. And, I just took that forward. So, Lauren mentioned wanting to be able to help people. And that's just core to who I am from the get. So passion is extremely important to us. And it's one of those things that it's not a matter of just being passionate and being dedicated to what you do. But for me personally, it's about listening. not hearing, listening, really actually able to, meet people where they're at and hear where they're doing and what they're going through, and taking that and turning it around to how we can help, how we can, meet them where they're at and make sure that we're providing what we need. But I'm extremely fortunate. Like I said, I stumbled into where I am. I wasn't planning on being at EWN, but here I am. Been here for almost 5 years now, and it's
Same.
just
we got here as fast as we could, guys.
yeah, I know, right?
I'm glad, very glad.
Yeah, and to that point, I would have to say the timing of James and I starting right about the same time was just highly coincidental, but just amazing.
Serendipitous. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and James immediately recognizing that I'm a helper and I enjoy, jumping into situations I have no business being in, and recognizing that for the very first conference that we had, he needed an AV guy. I'm a nerd. I'll pick it up. I can do that. So there I am, first time working with microphones, working with walkie-talkies, trying to make sure presentations are up to date. Have people walking up to me mid-show going, I need to change these slides. And I'm like, oh, I've sort of got something going.
Something.
Yeah,
okay.
but
I'll get on it. Yep.
We'll make it work. That's fine. We can do that. And I think that's just one of the biggest things that Laura and I have in common is that we are absolutely driven to, help those that we can help, and just be able to hear you and say, yeah, we can do that. Yeah. We can do that.
That's our culture for sure at EWN. And Ryan, thanks for that, almost testimony. I hope people realize stumbling into your career is not necessarily the worst thing that can happen. I think not stumbling into your career is probably the worst thing. But Lauren, I'm going to bring you back in and fire off kind of the last set of questions for both you and Ryan. Innovation and excellence. That's kind of where we draw the line and have kind of the two sides that are new in this rework. So Lauren, do you mind giving us kind of that 30,000 foot view of what inspires each team each day, and really what are they shooting for? What's the intent behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, let me just say this is kind of a fun fact. So we went back to, again, we were talking about how many people there were when I started. There were 12? So now in the product innovation and product excellence division, we have roughly like that same number of folks dedicated to innovation, to excellence. And so, again, we talk about being much more laser focused than wearing those many hats. So it's awesome that we are able to do that. And so when we talk about product innovation as a whole, and then we have in essence two areas, you mentioned product innovation, product excellence, and really those are the beginning and the end of the whole product development life cycle. And so it starts with product innovation. And that is the ideation, that is the why behind what we build. And that is also the what is it that we build? So what is that why with the features and the tools that we build? And why is that important to the clients? Why is that important to the industry? And it's the requirements gathering and then working with our development team to execute on those plans and those goals and that why that we talk about. And so really wanting to make sure that, again, what we deliver matters. And on the flip side of that, you have product excellence. And so that is the commitment to the quality, to ensuring at the end of the day that what we've delivered is the very best. And it also aligns with that vision and that plan, that why, that product innovation laid out from the very beginning. So again, it is the beginning and the end of that whole product development life cycle. And we've put together a team of some really talented folks that are committed, that are driven, that are passionate, that are curious, that are excited to not only try to be problem solvers, which I think that's one thing Ryan and I also share. We love to solve problems. Yes. And then, but not only that, but actually going out and being a problem finder. So what are the issues before they even come to us? And so those are some of the things that really drive this group. And so we're just thrilled, really.
Lauren, that's a great trait. And I love what you said there, a problem finder, where you go out and try to not say break it, but see if there's any pieces that are, just don't assume everything is perfect. And you go with the assumption you're going to find something out there. I love that aspect. Ryan, let me bring you over a little bit. I want to take this down maybe a little bit of a different path and much more into Jim's world. Okay. Let's pretend that I am a prospect, a client, a user of the Energy Worldnet system, or again, just Jim. As I said, I'm consciously incompetent to everything behind the scenes, but I'm consciously competent to what I expect when I go forward with it. So having said that, what will this now look like to me? All the innovations that we're talking about. Not going to hold you anything, but this will help people like me to help understand some of your world and how it transcends over into, people like me that aren't mostly not really techie, but we use your stuff every day. Without it, I'm dead in the water. So if that wasn't a loaded question that you could talk 2 hours on, I don't know what is.
I'm telling you, man. And I would first say that, taking a little bit of a step back from just Lauren and I, again, we are very fortunate to be with the company that we're at. We have several individuals. If you're fortunate enough to work with us, you will have a passion for what we do. And like Lauren and I have a passion about understanding, why do you need to do this? What are you trying to do? How do you do what you do? We are experts in our field. That is what we do. But part of being an expert is understanding that you don't know everything. And everyone has a little bit of a nuance. Everybody has a little bit, difference in how they do what they do. And so one of the first things for you, Jim, for me personally, is to sit down with you and go, what do you do? How do you do what you do? And that's what I've loved about my career. No one's ever assumed that I understood intimately how they do what they do. So that lets me just sit down and just learn you. How do you do what you do? What's important to you? Why do you go through this process instead of this one? What's failed in the past? And, learn from you and make sure that at the end of it all, I can talk with you in the language that you share. So that way you understand I hear you. And now I can take that back to my teams, my peers, my groups and say, this is how Jim does what he does. And this is why this is important. And this is where we need to go because of that. And everybody gathers around that and we all take it forward. So that is what, we do. That's how we work. And so for individuals like yourself that are, just sub-tech gurus,
Careful.
we have, a very large group of individuals that are here to talk with you and to help you out, that they understand what they do. They know their passions and they know their knowledge areas, but more than anything else, they understand you got where you are by doing your way and you are an expert in your field. We're going to be here to hear you. So that's what we do.
Wow. And let me just jump in just to explain that it is true every single day. And that passion that you have to understand my world, which is a little atypical, and try to find ways to make it more synergetic or easier. I mean, when you teach me things that, if you do it this way, it might save you 20 minutes. That's a revelation to me. So thank you to you, the whole team, everybody. So
yeah, absolutely.
What a pep rally. Well, we've come to the end of our show, sadly, but we have one more question, and it's something we've been ending shows with, and I'm going to quit disclaiming that it's something that we end our show with because I'm going to just assume everyone watches every episode all the time. But for this one, this is the last time I'll ever say it, Jimmy. We like to end our show with one question, and Lauren, I'm going to start with you. So Ryan, if you pay attention, you get a jump on it. You could be ideating the whole time. Lauren, do you love what you do?
Yes, I sure do. I think if you've known me, you've heard me say that it is always an exciting time to be part of Energy Worldnet.
Amen.
And that is no different today than it was the first day that I started. Those many days ago, back in 2012. So I enjoy the people that I work with. I enjoy the industry, our clients, getting to know them and seeing them at conferences. It really continues to drive me. The other thing is that when I see that something that we have built, when that really helps a client, and that helps them in their day to day, and that really does inspire me. And so I love it. I enjoy it. Everything is it's never dull. There's always something new happening, and that has been true throughout my career. So absolutely, I do love what I do.
That's awesome, Lauren. I think we all want to, affect positive change. And so you saying that, seeing it in action or whatever it looks like at that moment is one of the best results. Ryan, you're not off the hook, man. And you had a little bit extra time. And I know you work so well on the fly. Ryan, do you love what you do?
Absolutely not.
I've been waiting for somebody to answer like that.
I couldn't let you down, James.
Would be Ryan.
I could not let you down in that moment. Again, James and I starting at the same time was just serendipity at its best. So, again, Lauren said it all, and she's absolutely right. But I will just say one more time, it's not just a matter that I love what I do. I love what I get to be around, the teams I get to be around, the people that I get to be around. It's not just me. It's not just Lauren. It's not actually even just Jim and James that are passionate. We have so many people that you would be surprised. They are thinking about your problems night and day. They really are trying to figure things out. They really are working to, make not just you better, but, your peers better and the industry better. And for a lot of the people, if you were to get to know them, you were like, why are you worried about this? Why does this keep you up at night? It's just because it's what we do. It's really, if you've never had a job that you just truly were passionate about, I am sorry for you. And to go back to what James and I were talking about earlier, as far as stumbling into your career, that's why I was able to stumble to my career, because I very early on found out what I was passionate about. And if you can find that, no matter what that is, hold on to that, because that, like Jim, Jim, even though he, jokes about not being a technical guru, what drives the rest of us is his personality and his drive and his energy. For James, being able to lighten the load on everybody else and make sure that we're all, connected and doing what we need to do. We all find our passions, and we're all fortunate enough that we're in a company that allows us to find those passions. Again, for those of you that don't know me, more than likely I'm on a call talking about extremely technical things because that's my background. But I'm now in a team that all we get to do, what we are trusted with is the future and the new innovations for this company. Yeah. And if you were to know me 15, 20 years ago, you probably wouldn't, assume that that's where I would be. But here I am, because I've been allowed to follow my passion. And my passion is led me to the people that need help. They need a way. And I'm here to hear that and to get them what they need. So yeah, I absolutely love what I do.
Ryan, I just had the biggest epiphany. You ready? Y'all are literally the dream team. Like that's what y'all's job is. What are we talking about right now?
That's true.
Y'all built your dream job where you just sit around. You get paid to dream now, right? And then make it happen.
Yeah.
We'll workshop that. I think there's some legs on that.
I like
Ryan, great answer. Lauren, you're awesome. You're both awesome. Jimmy, you want to take us home?
Absolutely. I don't want to. I could go on for another hour just listening to this, because I have to tell you, every time I get inspired and I learn something more. But seriously, our heartfelt thanks to Ryan and Lauren for joining us today. Absolutely, you guys make a difference each and every day, and I'm sure that our audience has picked up something. Hopefully they got a little bit of that inspiration that they can take back and have that spread. And I'm going to put Ryan and Lauren on the right on it right now, that if you guys want to connect with them on LinkedIn, they're in the links up above. So do that. You may even reach out to them to, as you guys say, nerd out. Is that okay if I say that? Nerd out? Okay.
I think it's more geek out. Nerd has
geek
a negative
out
connotation.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm hip with the lingo. I want to make sure I'm giving the right vibe. Huh?
It's good. It's good enough.
Anyways, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Do have some exciting news. You may want to check out the Energy Worldnet website. There might be a new Coffee with Jim and James area on there. and you might be seeing something very exciting on LinkedIn pretty soon. James, you know me, I just have to spill the beans at
Such
times.
premonition.
Well, I tell you, it's because of our viewership each and every week. We thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, please take care, stay safe. God bless you. God bless our industry. And we will see you on the next episode of Coffee with Jim and James.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks for having us.